All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius out here at the range with the Springfield Echelon 4.0c comp and the Canik Prime. As you know, both of these are ported guns. I don't know why they call it a comped gun, but ported gun, comped, whatever. The Springfield has a big chunk port, as you know, like many of the other ones we have done recently. And the Prime is a little bit different, as it has 3 holes in the end of the barrel and corresponding holes in the slide. It's a little bit different, made a little differently. I can tell you before I even start this comparison, don't give me a hard time about it not being a fair comparison between the two, because as you know, I'm very active in the comment section, and it's rare that I do videos that has not been requested over and over and over. And if it's within my ability to do so, I'm going to do it, because otherwise what's the point in doing the channel if it's not for you guys? However, I will say, laying these things side by side on the tailgate here and taking a picture of it, they are very similar in size, okay? I would say they would both conceal about the same, carry about the same. So then it just comes down to, you know, which one you shoot best with. And I also tell you this, that to keep in mind that both of these are technically ported or comped guns, which, you know, as of now, I will not carry one. So for me, this type of gun is just simply a range toy. So keep that in mind too, because I'm going to tell it based off of that, okay? And I will also say which one I would carry if it was the only, between these two, I only had these two as an option in the entire world, which one would I carry? But I'm not going to go into all of the, you know, deep dive into the specs, heights, lengths, weights, things of that nature. I think the Canik weighs in somewhere around 23.4 and the Echelon's around 24 ounces, 1.16 on the thinness or the width, if you will, on the Canik, and it's just ever so slightly like 1.2 or something on the Echelon. So as far as, you know, the Echelon's a little bit longer in length than is the Canik. The Canik has like a, I don't know, 3.6 something barrel, 4-inch barrel, obviously, on the Echelon. But just overall size, just again, this one's a little thinner. The Canik is a little bit thinner, so I'm sure it would conceal slightly better, but very, very comparable in their size, barrel lengths, the fact that they're both comped. So then it just comes down to features, what came in the box, how I shot with the gun, and that's all I'm really interested in today. You have a full set of night sights on the Canik, orange on the front, which you know I'm a huge fan of. Not a huge fan of green dots or green sights in general. Don't know why, they just don't work for me. And you know, they both flush mount your optic. The Springfield obviously uses some pins, a patent system they have or what have you, and the RMSC shield footprint on the Canik. So you have your micro optic, you have a full size option, or to basically mount about any optic you want to on the Echelon. And so I prefer the sight system. I know, give me a hard time about it, because everyone seems to be so enamored with the sight system on the Echelon, but I prefer the sight system on the Canik. Although with the optic I have mounted up here, I do not get a true co-witness. Not even, it's pretty close, but I don't really get a co-witness. But that's okay. I have the Fox Army FX22 Pro, or actually I think it's just the it is the FX22 green dot. Okay, it's not the Pro, it's the green dot. And love this optic, man. I can't tell you just how many guns I've bounced this optic around on, just doing reviews over the years. I'll put a link in the corner of the screen. You can use my discount code G210 at checkout. You won't be disappointed with this optic, I can assure you of that. But I don't get a co-witness with this. Now, I could put a different optic on here that's not quite as thick in the back, and I would get a co-witness. So you can get a co-witness with the Canik Prime. So, but either way, both of these things have been zeroed up. So, you know, in the box, as I've already mentioned several times in the other comparisons with the Springfield, you do get 15 and a 17, or actually it might be 18 round magazine. You do have the extended floor plate in there, so you can make them both 18 rounders, and you have two 17 round magazines that come with the Canik. Both of them have mag loaders that come with them. Okay, the Springfield just simply comes in a fabric case here. Okay, you get a, your pin set. You get you have 3 backstrap options. You have 3 backstrap options with the Canik as well. And as I mentioned, you get a mag loader with the Canik. You get your little Canik toolkit that comes in the little gun there. You also get what I believe to be a little bit of a cheesy inside the and outside the waistband holster with the Canik, and you get a little punch here to punch out and change out your back straps. You get a cleaning brush and a little ramrod there, and it also comes in a very, very nice Pelican type case, and I believe it's TSA approved. It can be locked up to transport your firearm. So I really, really like the case. Comes in a really nice case. So the fact of the matter is that you get more goodies with the Canik for sure. There's more available in the box, no question. You get a cardboard box with the Springfield with a little soft carrying case, and there's not as many goodies in the box. The MSRP on the Echelon comes in at $749. On the Canik, it's about $649. Honestly, since the Canik Prime has been out for a little while now, it might actually be over $100 less for the Canik. So as far as, you always have to consider the price. So considering the price, I'm gonna say you get more value, more bang for your buck with the Canik for sure. But again, it comes down to how you shoot with the gun. So I will say up front that I never thought that the Canik, now every comped or ported gun that I've compared to the Canik Prime, they all outperformed when it came to, just muzzle rise. It seems that that's what everybody wants to know about when it comes to these ported or compensated guns. Does it mitigate the recoil over its predecessor, or does it mitigate the recoil more so than it does other ported guns? And I will say that for the most part, every other ported gun has whipped this one's behind when it comes to muzzle rise, and I don't think it'll be any different with the Springfield, because again, it is a big chunk port in the very top. Okay, this one is designed a little bit differently. I don't know why, don't know if they was being cute. It is a unrifled portion of the barrel, but nonetheless, it's not ported with a big chunk port. It has the 3 holes in the barrel and corresponding holes on the slide here. So I will show you the muzzle rise because I know people want to see that, but I'm gonna shoot 1 magazine through each of them, just alternating between the targets. I did take a few shots off camera just to make sure that my dots were still on, and then I'll flip it around and let you see an accuracy test. But I just want to see which one I'm able to shoot with faster, and I don't think I need to go into great detail about the triggers. Obviously the Canik has a better trigger. I've already told you in the other comparison videos that I am not a fan at all of the trigger on the Echelon. It has a lot of take up. The brake is decent, although it's a rolling brake. It's not really a defined wall and a crisp brake. The reset is, it's short, but it's not very audible or tactile. None of those things can be said about the Canik. Great trigger, so no need to sit here and do the trigger pulling thing. Canik trigger is way better. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the trigger on the Echelon anyway. So right now, I am just going to shoot between these targets with the dueling tree, etc., to see how fast I can do that. Before I get started doing that, as always, I want to invite you to know Jesus Christ is your Savior, the most important decision you will ever make. Please do not let another second go by without taking care of that. If you don't know how, pick up a King James version of the Bible. Humbly ask God to reveal himself to you in his word or through his word. Read it with an open heart and mind. I believe wholeheartedly that he will reveal himself to you. You can also reach out to Amanda or I at gsquaredtactical@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to share the good news, the great news of the gospel of Jesus Christ with you. If you also like what it is that we do, consider going over, click on the link in the corner of the screen to Patreon, supporting us monthly over there. You could do $5, $100, really whatever you want. Right now, the only thing we're doing is uploading all the videos over there that you can watch ad-free. Nothing exclusive yet, but we are trying to work on that. Also, you can go to our website, also click on the link in the corner of the screen, gsquaredtactical.com, pick up some merchandise, or you can click on the 3 lines in the corner of the screen, scroll or pop down, click on support the channel at the bottom there, and it's pretty self-explanatory. After that, it's a one-time donation, and we do get the majority of that money, and it all will go back into doing what we do. So going to start with the Canik Prime. I'm shooting 124 through everything that I am shooting today. Again, just going to alternate between these targets here and just see how quickly I can do so. I think I missed about 4 or so, but I do get carried away with the Canik, I won't lie. It's a very fun gun to shoot, and with that amazing trigger, it's a very fast gun to shoot. So although these are 18 round mags, I believe I only have 17 rounds in there to keep it comparable with the capacity on the Canik here. So I'm just going to do the same thing with the Springfield here, see how it goes. I'll say this, and I've said this in the other comparison videos that I've done with, you know, the Echelon being new to the market, the comp version, compact comp. I mean, listen, I've had every offering of the Echelon, and they have all performed flawlessly. HS makes a great product. There's everything. I've always wanted to like this. When it first hit the market, I'm like, you know, I like that. I like the little gas pedals on the side. Everything on the gun is ambi. The texturing is a little underwhelming, but still not too bad. Big squared off trigger guard. Both of them had 3 slot accessory rails up there, textured on the front of the trigger guard. It has these little gas pedals on the side. The mill work and the thought that went into everything on the slide with these little ears right here that you can manipulate the slide with. Also has the ears at the rear, much like a HK VP9. The mounting system, you know, whatever. I could do with or without it, but there's everything to like about this gun, and I wanted to like it. It does feel phenomenal in the hand. Just for whatever reason, I've never been that great with the gun. And again, that just comes back to some guns fit some people and others it doesn't, okay? But I think a lot of it has to do with the trigger as well. Because again, I'm sorry if you don't think it matters to me, because I put a ton of rounds down range, a ton, probably minimum 3,000 a month, okay? And I hunt for a reset. I just do. I hunt for a reset. If I can feel it, primarily if I can feel it, because it's hard to hear with the ear protection and the noise, but if I can feel it, I can't really feel the reset on this, or I barely can. Much like the M&P 2.0 carry comp from Smith, I just can't feel the reset. So it causes me to dip a lot. It causes me to pull a lot. And could I get used to it if it's the only thing I had to shoot? Sure. But I believe if they put a different trigger in here, a better trigger, a more Canik type trigger, this might possibly be an amazing gun for me. But as of right now, I just don't shoot as fast or even as accurately with this gun. So I'm going to load up, I'm going to flip the camera around, and I'm going to shoot at 2 different targets here, just seeing which one I'm more accurate with, standing here at about 12 yards. So let's do that. All right, I'm going to start here with the Echelon, and then I'll do the Canik next, second. Best group I've had so far with the Springfield, that's for sure. All right, now let's do the same thing with the Canik Prime here. Okay, well, I think most of you guys will probably tell me, how wrong I am, but I think I shot ever so slightly better, tighter group with the Prime. But I will remind you also that it's been months. I don't know how many, it could have been 6, maybe more, since I've shot the Prime. And I just brought it out to the range today, and I have filmed 4 videos with the Echelon, just the Echelon by itself. Then I did one comparing it to the M&P 2.0 carry comp, one comparing it to the CZ P10C comp, and one other comp gun. It's slipping my mind at the moment. Oh, the PX9 from TSIS. So I've done, what would that be, 7 total videos with the Echelon, like recently. Like the last time I shot the Echelon was like 3 days ago. Okay, so I'm intimately familiar with it, and I will say that I am getting better with it the more I shoot it. But remember, it's been about 6 months since I picked this gun up. I put about 12 rounds through it this morning. Okay, so to pick this up, with only having shot it within the last 6 months, and to be that tight at the same distance, and having shot the Echelon probably over 600 rounds now, probably closer to 700, and just now getting to where I can maintain a tight group, I still say I shot a little bit better. Definitely shot faster and more on target, alternating between the targets, and a little bit more accurately as well. So I know you guys want to see the muzzle rise, but again, I can already tell you just from shooting these two that this one definitely hits harder. But then I'll tell you what I think and which one I'd pick for range fun, and which one I'd pick if it was my only EDC option. So let's do that. All right, going to start with the Springfield Echelon. Again, just looking at muzzle rise. All right, going to do the same thing with the Canik Prime. Not sure the video ended up being short as I promised it would be, but nevertheless, we did not go through some of the boring details. Just got right to shooting and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. When I was looking back on the iPad, trying to determine which one had more muzzle rise, I would say, like in most other comparisons, the Springfield was probably very slightly less. But again, I'm gonna let you guys be the decision maker on that, because in my hand I feel more recoil from the Prime, as I always have. I feel less recoil, so that would just be the felt recoil. As far as the flatness, I think it's negligible. I don't know that. I mean, it seemed very similar to me, and that has been mostly what I have learned to be true about this one. My wife said between this one and the original Echelon 4.0c, she didn't really notice any difference. I noticed a little bit of a difference, but definitely did not seem to make as big of a difference, say like on the CZ P10C non-comped versus the P10C that is comped. Is huge difference. And even so on the MC9 LS, which is comparable to the Canik here, the Prime, it made a huge difference over that one. But as far as in comparison to other comped guns, especially the ones with the chunk ports in them, the Prime seems to fall a little bit short in how flat it shoots in compared to the others. So I would give the edge slightly to the Echelon. Considering that I love, as most people do, the trigger in the Canik, definitely I shot a lot faster with it, more on target, more accurately. The muzzle rise doesn't seem to be an issue, more felt recoil in this one. Definitely for range fun, I'm picking the Canik now, as I have done in the other comparison videos. If these were the only 2 guns on the planet and I had to choose one of them, which one would it be? Every other video that I've done outside of course, the CZ P10C, I chose the Echelon, I believe, Could be wrong about that, but I think I chose the Echelon, and if it's the only one I had to carry, just simply because of its build quality over those others. And 2-3 years ago, I probably would have said the same thing comparing these two, but I have shot and handled and had so many Canik offerings over the last 5 years, and I've just had very few problems. I mean, 1 or 2, maybe 3 little issues here and there. I mean, honestly, at one point I could say the same as I could say about CZ when it came to the Canik. I never had a problem. And the problems I have had, I've never had to send one back for warranty. They have been great, okay? So in the case of these two, you know, stone me to death. I know how you people are. I know how enamored you are with your Echelon. I'm just not a fan. That's just my opinion. It means absolutely nothing. But in both categories, fun at the range and EDC, if it's all I had was these two to choose, I'm going with the Canik. There you have it. I said it. Canik MC9 Prime out on top on this comparison. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit me up in the comment section. We can go back and forth about it. Not a problem. As always, to God only be the glory.